Hi, my name is Alana Page. This is my course reflection for EDU 5320 or Ed Tech at Northern Vermont University for the fall semester of 2020. So this is kind of just my thoughts on the class as a whole and my big takeaways and my main learning from this semester. So we really started the year looking at this guiding question of how can I use technology in my classroom to help students learn to be safe and responsible digital citizens. Coming into the class, I had some of my own expectations. I thought I was really prepared for this class because I had just taken a class earlier during the summer semester about digital citizenship. So I was like, oh, this is going to be similar. I'm going to be able to kind of fly through this. But this class really came from a different angle than I was expecting. I thought we were going to do a lot of, oh, here's a tech tool. Let's talk about it. How do we use it? Okay, how do we make sure students are being responsible and safe on it? Okay, move on to the next tech tool. And that was not at all what our class was. We did look at a lot of tech tools. We looked at some lists of tools and got to dive into individual tools ourselves. But it wasn't this kind of just parading through tech tools, which is what I thought it was. I'm very happy that's not what our class was. The reality was that we got to talk about what tools can help students in what situations and how do we know when to use what tool, which is one of the hardest things in a classroom, is to know when is the right time to use a tech tool and when should you not be using a tech tool, and how to find that balance. And that was what we really focused on, was finding a balance of tech tools, student learning, and being responsible, teaching our kids how to be responsible in a digital world that's becoming more and more digital, especially during 2020 with all of our classrooms having to be ready to go remote at any moment. So our class had 4 big learning targets. So the first one was about gaining knowledge of tools and procedures regarding how, when, and what for purposes of technology can support teaching and learning. While we did this in the first couple weeks, and it was great. I don't feel like personally I learned a lot of new tools. There was a couple tools that I hadn't heard of that we spoke about, but I'm already in the classroom and I felt like a lot of the tools we were talking about, I already knew about them, but I did learn lots of good tips and more about them. So that was really helpful. Our second learning target was to use tools for helping students develop web literacy and understand ethics and responsibilities of online citizenship. We spent a week on this. I feel like it would have been really nice to spend more time diving in to how this looks in different age groups. But we did learn a really great program. I don't know if it really helped further my deeper understanding to how to help my students be better online citizens, other than that one program we looked at through Google. Personally, I also really like that we talked about the teacher side of using technology and how that helps us as a professional, and where that line in between your professional and your personal life is. I think that's a really, really important thing. Earlier in my career, I had an issue where a student found a very old Instagram account that I hadn't even been using, but it was still out there. And I wish we had, you don't think of it when you're 16 and you post something and then it can come back in your professional life. And it's definitely a new thing. Employers don't really know what to do with when it's stuff that was out there before you entered that field. So personally, I think that was really great to hear, and I'm glad that the college is talking to graduate and undergraduate students about this, because it wasn't really talked about when I went through my undergrad to become a teacher. So I really appreciated that, even though it wasn't a lot of new learning. It was great recap learning, and if you hadn't had a situation before, I think it's great learning. My big learning came from learning targets 3 and 4 of constructing an informed perspective on the role technology plays in our educational systems, and LOL4, developing a vision of themselves as an educator capable of integrating current ed tech within their curriculum across subject areas. So a lot of this came out in my ed tech philosophy statement, which kind of makes sense because that sums up our whole view. So, but this is where I felt like I had the most growth. So my personal areas of growth, as I said, we're in our 3rd and 4th learning target. I feel like I have a much just better sense of when to use technology and what to ask myself when I'm going to use technology in my classroom. Previously, I feel like I used stuff because it's what I knew. It was what somebody else before me had used, or my teammate said that's what they were using. So it's like, okay, we use this. But this really kind of helped me figure out, oh, I'm using this and this is why I'm using it and why I agree with it. So it really helped in constructing my perspective. It's kind of helped me develop a vision of myself as an educator using technology. This year I'm having to use a lot more technology. I just found out my school is going remote the week after Thanksgiving. I found out yesterday. So it's definitely, technology is kind of my lifeline for work right now, but it's trying to find programs that not just work online, but enhance and are easy and our parents can easily understand as well. So I feel like our class really helped me come up with kind of some good criteria of how to tell if a site is reliable, if the site is what I should be using. I have kind of a list of questions in my EdTech statement, and I really have gone back to those as I've been developing things, and I'm like, okay, does the site help my students in some way? Is it helping enhance their learning? Is it helping engage them? And if it's not enhancing their learning or engaging them, why am I using it? Unless it's Google Classroom, which, I mean, I don't think they view it as enhancing or engaging them, but it's our platform we have to use in its organization, which they all need because they're 7th graders. But so these were my 2 big areas of growth, I feel, was just figuring out how, not just how to use tech, but the effects of tech in my teaching and how to just kind of pick the right tech. My other areas of growth are screencasts. I've decided I really like screencasts. Before this class, they made me really nervous. My first one, I redid it like 3 times and it still was terrible because I was just so nervous about it. So I just really, that's one area of a lot of growth, I feel like. There was always growth with writing formal lesson plans. Once you have left kind of the teaching in college, my school doesn't require formal lesson plans, so my lesson plans are written more for me and they're shorthand and choppy. So having to go back and write out a formal lesson plan was definitely, kind of had to step back into that learning curve, and feel like I've improved some with them, which I hope will help me on any observations I have in the next year or 2, because it's a good kind of reminder of how to do that and the importance of that. The last area of growth is academic reading. I don't feel I've put enough time recently before this class into reading actual research on teaching. I feel like the first couple of years of teaching, I've kind of been just trying to keep my head above water, and academic reading went to kind of the bottom of the list because you're kind of sink or swim in your classroom and trying to keep all of that under control. So it's been really nice to get back to academic reading and really thinking about why I'm using the practices I am, and are they backed by research? And if not, then why are you doing them? So I've really enjoyed the academic reading, and I feel like that's been a lot of growth. I especially enjoyed the 3 articles of my choice through the graduate part of this. I really liked that I got to find articles that kind of went with what I've been doing and things I've been using, and get to test out to see if what I'm using in my room is really, if I should be, and if I shouldn't be, then why am I doing it, and get to really evaluate my own teaching through my learning in this class. So I had 3 readings that stood out that we were assigned in this class. The first is the ISTE standards. Before this class, I didn't know they existed. So that was kind of a huge learning moment for me, that there was standards that I didn't know existed and probably should be working into my teaching, whether they're state mandated or not. They're really important that our kids know how to use technology appropriately and functionally. So that was one of the main readings that I think stands out so much. The other reading is the What is Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge, or the TPAC article. This, I can't say enough about this article. It really kind of made me think about my teaching and where that kind of zone is, where you're using the correct technology with the correct kids and all those parts of teaching with the content you're covering. And that's really hard to find all of those things to line up. And part of the problem is some tools might be right for some kids and not for others, and having to make those decisions on the fly is so important. And that reading really helped me see that overlap and how you have to really think about the tech tool, the teaching part of your class, knowing where everybody's at, and your content, to be able to use ed tech effectively. And then the last one was at the end of our course, and it was the technology and how it's used in schools is widening the opportunity gap. This article really stood out to me because I have totally done some of these things in my classroom, and it made me realize how they were not good practices. I had a smart board in my room, and it got put in on a grant, and no one got me any training on how to use it, and it was different from everyone else's. And that was one thing it talked about, was in these schools where teachers are given technology but not taught how to use it. I've had this happen twice to me in my 4 years teaching, that I've gotten tech but no training. And I think that really does widen the opportunity gap, because some teachers have that training or have kind of more of a natural intuitiveness. And I feel like their kids are getting more opportunity than the kids that are with me, that I will admit I didn't have that intuitiveness to figure out all the functions on my smart board my first year teaching. And like the piece about cell phones in this article just really stands out to me still. I think that's so important that in the lower income schools, that we target cell phones when that's the tech that they have, and why don't we teach them how to use it appropriately and for educational purposes besides just Snapchatting your friends. So the top two readings really helped me with the teaching component, and this last one really helped me just examine my own teaching, and I feel like I've really learned about myself as an educator from it. So back to our guiding question. So how can I use technology in my classroom to help students learn, be safe, and responsible digital citizens? My overall answer to our guiding question, I'd have to say, is I want to be able to use technology in my classroom to help students be able to express themselves, show their ideas in multiple modalities, while making sure I'm talking about safety and what information is okay to put out there. And especially with middle schoolers, we also have to talk about when things have comment functions and chat functions, how to use those appropriately, and what things are okay to say and not okay to say, because they very quickly want to be social, and we need to, in teaching them kind of those bounds of what's okay to be social on an educational app and how to be social on a non-educational app, and how that's different, and how there's still some hard boundaries on, regardless of what you're on, about being appropriate and being polite and respectful. So I definitely have learned so much, and I think there's still so much I can learn about technology in my classroom, because there's so much new technology coming out constantly. But I also think it's important to have some good pieces of technology and just really keep use those and stick with it. I think it was a podcast, and I couldn't find which podcast it was. But one of them talked about that you should have 7 pieces of technology. And I think that was one of my big takeaways, is to have a couple pieces of tech, and those are what you use, and you stop just adding in more for the sake of more, but make sure what you're using is really strong and it helps your kids. And I think that's definitely something I've taken away, and I've taken back to my teaching and taken to my team even. And as a team, we talked about using some cohesive pieces of tech to make it easier on our kids and families. So I think that's where my real learning comes in. I feel like I really did learn a lot from the course. And thank you for watching my screencast. And these are the references for those papers. Thank you.